Greetings, this is Arletta coming live and direct from Arletta Unleashed, and it is a pleasure to be back. I know I haven't posted in a couple of days. Believe it or not, there were two different days where I attempted to go and record, and I tried to record and I was not able to. Either my internet connection was too slow or YouTube wasn't cooperating, and I like to go and have regular posts for my wonderful, lovely audience. But when I record twice and the recording has to go through, that's my way of spirit telling me that today's not the day. So either there's something I need to get straight that I can convey clear to you, or it's just not the right time. So, that being the case, today is the day of the eclipse. So far, YouTube is recording at the correct rate, so we will continue. And in the last couple of days, I've been enjoying my Netflix. And a couple of days ago, I watched this amazingly horrific movie called The Stoning of Soraya B. And it's an Iranian movie um, uh, that featured, or the main storyline was about a woman who was falsely accused of adultery because her husband wanted to take on a younger 14-year-old wife. And she wouldn't divorce him because she would have no means of support for her daughters and they would practically starve. So he cooked up some story, got together with the local mayor, mullah, and got her killed. Anyway, um, but between watching that movie and seeing all the different dynamics and how I personally responded to it, I noted that my sense of resonating from a victim place is no longer that strong. I didn't feel overwhelming sense of anger or a sense of sadness. I felt over a sense of sadness because this is definitely based on a true story. But it was more of a neutral type thing, like, okay, now why, with all the different aspects of the story, did the individuals interact in the way that they did? And namely, one of the things was why, I'm not saying the woman had a choice, but they stand by and not really raise a voice um, against it. And why did the men also go along with rules, obviously, of course? So raised a lot of questions. Raised a lot of questions. It was very provoking. I recommend you watch it. I want you to see how you respond, see how you feel, and what it brings up for you. Because apparently that's what I was supposed to watch. But don't watch it before you go to sleep. I don't recommend that, which is what I did. The other um, thing that I watched, and it's all once again centered around a female empowerment and female unleashment, is a movie called Dangerous Beauty. It's a French movie that I got watched off of Netflix, and it's about a woman, a young woman, who, because her family was not very wealthy and the father gave away all the money, and this is once again based on a true story as well. She was, her mother, in fact, trained her to be a courtesan, and she lived in Venice because in different countries in Europe they had different cultural norms, and in Venice, a courtesan was actually considered a place of privilege. And it was positive. It's like courtesans only they trained in the art of seduction and keeping a man totally fascinated. Which, by the way, why are we women trained to do that now? Because this is a better profession for them. But wouldn't it seem like all women would have access to that training so we could have much more satisfactory relationships? Anyway, that's just an aside. But also, courtesans were actually allowed to become educated, to become fluent in other languages, to master mathematics and science and philosophy, etc., etc. And they weren't just considered a hoe. or whore, and they were sought out for their intelligence, for their wit, as well as their beauty and their sexual prowess or whatever. So it was those two movies kind of juxtaposed together. Just brought up a lot for me as far as some different things that we women just need to look at. So I recommend watching this movie as well and see what does that bring up for you, because it's like, why um, during the course of our history as females have we uh, allowed it to proceed as it has? And more importantly, here in the present, what kind of present do we want to create for women? And what kind of future do we want to create for our daughters? What kind of world? How do we want our daughters and our granddaughters and great granddaughters to experience the world? And not just our individual ones, but the women and young women and the future generations of females of the world. And looking at these two extreme movies, one of a courtesan who's a glorified hoe, but in her particular culture and time period, um, had a very high status and more respect than a wife and more freedom. And why was that the case? And that throws into question the idea of being a wife, of being married, and then the concept of what being a female is. And then another situation where a whole community would allow a female to be falsely accused and literally stone by stone, stones death. Um, and so I'm going to leave you with that. I want you to start formulating in your mind. Just think about it. What kind of world would you want your daughters to live in, and that you want your granddaughters to be born into? And on that note, I'm going to close. Um, and I will be back tomorrow to continue this, because I want to flesh out my vision of what I want the world to be for the female experience as an unleashed woman. Anyway, you take care. Have a lovely, lovely weekend. And until tomorrow.